As part of the Klamath Promise Neighborhood Week of Celebration, and to commemorate the biology class's new salmon hatching program, the True North Organizing Network held a cultural sharing event at Crescent Elk Middle School. Redwood Voices' Monique, Camarena, and I first spoke with Nick Warkovalis of True North to have him fill us in on the event.
What we are doing today is we're implementing a salmon hatching program in Miss Jackie Huberger's room 20 room for her biology class. This was a complete accident. It was just a matter of me checking in with Miss Jackie to see how things are going, and there blossomed the idea for this evening for cultural sharing and bringing salmon hatching into Crescent Elk. So the reason why we implemented the program is to have a continuing effort for salmon release. We all know that the undamming of the river has been in the news. It's a big deal right now. And so much like the undamming, looking towards the future, that's precisely what this program is for, is, the salvation of a program, the salvation of a species. And when you get down to it, the salvation of our tribal peoples. As far as implementation goes, it's vast. So as a navigator, me and my team, we have been trained for sources of strength, so that is a huge resource and implementation to the students directly. And we can also tie that into adults as far as those who advise our sources of strength kids as well. Most importantly, we're just trying to get the word out for adult volunteers. We want to grow our parent-teacher organizations much stronger. We have the first one here at Crescent Elk since the 50s. So we want to encourage parents to get involved. That's why we want to create events like this so we can expose them to Promise Neighborhood and True North and learn what the team is all about.
Many of the True North and KPN partners at this event were the same ones seen at others. In our upcoming video on the Del Norte High School Community Fair, we speak with each booth in greater detail.
The true spotlight of this event was the salmon hatching program. We ventured to the end of the hallway where Crescent Elk's biology class was and got a rundown of this new and exciting program.
I am the 7th grade science teacher here at Crescent Elk, and I'm super excited about the curriculum that we teach here. Unfortunately, we do the next generation science standards, and the 7th grade curriculum really focuses a lot on ecosystems and a lot of our earth science about erosion and the rock cycle and plate tectonics, which all of those things happen naturally here where we live. But one of the most important things to me is our local ecosystems and our local cultures. Growing up here as like a Klamath kid and growing up on the Klamath River, but then also swimming in the Smith River all the time, and then being an avid fisher person, I love our local ecosystems. I love the redwoods, and so I try my best to incorporate our local ecosystems into all the science that I teach. And so basically the district has purchased a pretty extensive online curriculum that's not very meaningful to our students, and so this year as a 7th grade science teacher, I really have tried to push my own stuff to teach the standards instead of using the purchased curriculum, and we focus a lot on the fish and our local ecosystems. And so I'm trying to get the fish started in the classroom so that it's more meaningful and hands-on for the kids, and so that we have opportunity to not only watch it happen, but learn more about it hands-on, and then take them up and let them go in the river and just learn more about the river.
And do you think the students are more receptive to this kind of curriculum versus the standard?
Gosh, they're so excited. We've had this fish tank sitting here for 2 weeks, and they're like, every day, when are we getting our fish? So yes, they're very, very excited. And I have a lot of Native students. I have a lot of students who are Tolowa, whose families are Yurok, whose families come from both Tolowa and Yurok. They're learning their language, and it's really important to them. And I think that with the hands-on opportunity to really learn about the fish and watch the life cycle of it, it will be more meaningful for them to understand it.
Are there plans for programs like this at other schools, like the high school?
So a lot of the elementary schools are already incorporating fish in the classroom, which, Dan does a lot of that with the other schools. I think this is the first time in 20 years maybe that Crescent Elk has done it. And so I know that my son did it at Margaret Keating last year, and that's a school that has a high population of Native students, and it was very meaningful to my son. He loved it so much growing up on the river and knowing fish, and he'd come back and tell me all the things that he's learned about fish. And so with kids being in the 7th grade, they absorb a lot more information, and so I'm just really hoping that maybe this will be the start of something new within our science programs in our schools.
Dan Burgess gave us a deeper look at how the fish hatching program will work.
The fish are not ready yet. because of all these high flows that we've been having, the Rowdy Creek Fish Hatchery wasn't able to pull fish out of the river to spawn. So the hatchery did that. I don't work for the hatchery, that's where we receive the eggs. They had to wait, so they just got eggs. So we have to wait 25 days for those eggs to mature to get eyes, and then I can start bringing the eggs into the classrooms.
So the fish hatchery partners with the classrooms and the eggs come from them.
Big time, yeah. Rowdy Creek Fish Hatchery, which is managed by the Tolowa-Tribes these days. And then I work through Rural Human Services, and I've been doing this for about a number of years. Kind of embarrassed to say, a long time.
And do the fish go back into the river when they're done, or?
They do. That's the cool thing about it. We bring the eggs into the classroom. The kids study the eggs, they watch them hatch, and they write assignments, and they revolve their science around them and their literature around them. We even estimate when they are going to hatch using some mathematical equations and water temperature.
So the idea is to better reinforce the science of how fish reproduction works for the youth.
That, and also especially the habitat requirements that they need, which is limited out there. So we learn about good cover habitat, clean water, good gravel, riparian areas, that's streamside vegetation, the shade, keep the water cool. And so this aquarium represents habitat, mini habitat. And so we talk about what's needed. And we even bring water in from Rowdy Creek. Because so when the fish hatch, that's what they're going to imprint on. So we talk about that as well. And then the celebration is, once they're ready to release, we go to Rowdy Creek on a field trip.
There were also 2 guest speakers from the Yurok and Tolowa Tribes. They came to share their culture, language, and experiences.
The first to speak was Yurok Language Program Manager Victoria Carlson, who taught the audience Yurok salmon terminology and shared her family's experience in the salmon wars.
The other guest speaker was Tolowa-Tribes Councilman J-Tuck Steinruck. He shared his experiences teaching his wife and kids Tolowa-Tribes culture.
Overall, the new Salmon Hatching Program was an amazing new addition to Crescent Elk's curriculum. Thanks to Klamath Promise Neighborhood for helping share our local culture with the youth of Del Norte.
For Redwood Voice Youth Media, I'm Ethan Caudill-DeRego.
And I'm Monique Camarena.